Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Pelt Music Podcast. Shortly, we'll be joined by Philip Seth Campbell to discuss his new album, City Lights, which is out on September the 1st. But before then, the usual reminders from myself. If you would, please do follow Pelt on social media. We're on Facebook at Pelt and on Twitter and Instagram at Pelt Music. And again, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, wherever you're watching or listening. Welcome, Philip Seth Campbell, to the Pelt Music Podcast. We're absolutely delighted to have you on to talk about, obviously, City Lights that's coming out on September the 1st. But before then, I always just ask, how are you doing today?
I'm very, very well, thanks. This was last minute today, and so this gave a nice structure to the day. I've had a lovely day. I've been learning a song by Lou Reed called Ride Sally Ride, which is on an album of his called Sally Can't Dance, and I've been really into that. And then I wrote something on the piano that I started very, very late last night. Very kind of romantic songwriter story. This, but about 2 a.m. I started to write something I think is so beautiful and it was just so inspired by it was just the way it was moving around. It took me a little while to actually get it. I really have become a very geeky piano player again. Because I've learned how to play some of my favorite songs, and I kind of have a kind of thirst to do that now. To learn, like Rick Wakeman on the Changes by Bowie, or maybe he played on Life on Mars. It's just. It's like Liberace. You just don't. I love to learn these songs. Like, it's still crazy after all these years with Paul Simon. Songs that are just just songs that that people do not write. They don't know how to.
Yeah,
a lot. Anyway, that's my little. So. That's my little old man's rant.
No, it's beautiful. I love to hear it. And obviously, your creative juices have been flowing, to use a bit of a cliche. Obviously, we've got a lot to sort of talk about this coming up. But I'm going to take a step backwards to start off with and just touch on, obviously, your EP, Feel Again, came out about 10 months ago now. And obviously was kind of your reintroduction under your own name to be releasing music. So
I know. I didn't. I changed my name basically because it was just too. There's another. I wasn't Phil Campbell. I didn't realize that until I didn't realize that I wasn't Phil Campbell. It was actually him that was Phil Campbell. I just thought, fuck it, all right then. And it's actually an adjustment for me. It's something I still see the name written, but basically philipsethcampbell.com was free. So that was fine for me, and I thought it drew a line. And I think that I'll always be called Phil and everything and that. But the change kind of just drew a line for me.
Yeah, no, I think it does make sense to draw that line, and obviously it's probably not a problem. You touch on obviously the website. Wasn't available, but obviously with social media these days being so important, so many social handles are already taken. So I can imagine it is quite difficult, isn't it, to be able to.
With that name and combination of names, it's all right. Whatever I can do, I can have the Instagram handle. I can have it's fine. There's always, if you go Phil Campbell, there's always Phil Campbell 75, Phil Campbell 19. There's fucking hundreds, and then there's him and his bastard sons, and the connection with the temp because it was rock.
Yeah.
The confusion. I just thought, look, this is not gonna plague my mind anymore. I'm gonna just stop worrying about it. I'll look like Paolo Nutini, and and his name, my name belongs to somebody else. I'm kind of fucked every way.
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
My face is Paolo's, and my name is his. His name is the other guy for the bastard. So that's me.
So
able to laugh at it.
Exactly, you got to laugh at these things, but obviously, it is a fresh start for yourself. Really, you've had a long and storied career in the industry, and obviously Feel Again coming out 10 months ago now. How did you find the reaction, obviously, to putting that new music out?
I didn't really get a reaction for it. I just got, you know, the usual supportive, kind of main inner circle fan base bought it, and it helped me over Christmas to feel a little bit more confident in myself. It was a nice. I tried I thought that I would make an entire album that sounded like that, but I made a much bigger sounding album, which in actual fact I cannot actually reproduce just now live. When I play it live, it would just be myself and a couple of other guys here and there. But the initial idea was the EP that would be all like be able to be played like I had been, basically just myself. So, and it's in addition to the set. I've got a very, very good set to play of basically not really the whole new album, but the kind of cherry pick great big songs from that album, from the new one. And there's a couple of temp that I can play that are loved and wanted. And there's some Bison Family songs, and there's the stuff that I've done before that I love. And so it's an exciting time, because a collection of a dozen or so, 15 songs in a set, it's going to be magical. And I got the feeling, because I was very afraid after I put the tools down at the end of January, sort of beginning of February, when it was all over, and I had been sitting for 6 months solid, a year of doing it, but it's kind of 6 months of actually recording and writing it, and I didn't know what to do with myself, and I was scared of how I was going to go out and do it, because I didn't have a band, and I had this fear of being also stripped down, and it being so, you know, that kind of awkward way that people sometimes are at my gigs, because it's so emotional and there's an awkwardness, and I was afraid of all of this. But I'm not so much now, and I've had a good few rehearsals, and I know what I'm doing, and I kind of know who I am as well. You know, you know, it's just good to joke about it, but Paolo, but I'm not like him. I don't actually. I love his music. It's funny, you know. I get asked all the time, because people see me playing bars and they come up and you're, yeah, I'm fucking playing Paolo Nutini. And I say, no, Paolo Nutini. But the reason I don't play any Paolo Nutini, because it would just be far too confusing for everybody, mainly me. So I like his songs. I've got nothing against him. I love him. But I don't do what he did, and I don't really, and I don't sort of attempt to sort of present myself. I don't really know really what he does. I haven't really paid much attention, because, but and I'm kind of quite. I've been working on what I'm going to, who it is that's going to be playing this music, you know, because the most wonderful thing that the Temperance Movement taught me was that when you go on tour, this is why I was nervous. When you go on tour, you have a wardrobe of clothes that you have, and you have different outfits, and you have a concept. Well, I did anyway. The other four, they're like, the fuck she talking about. I did, and each time there was a theme, and there was a sort of, you know, and that's what made it into a show, because really, I don't want to sort of like me as me in my car. You don't want to go on stage and for it to be like me in my car. You want to go on stage, and for when the lights go out and the smoke machine comes on and the lights, and then I come out, you get this rush of just, it's just some sort of mystical magic. There has to be that element, because my favorite gigs have that. If I was going to see, you know, a huge star like Lou Reed back when he was playing in the live, or David Bowie, or you know, somebody legendary, it would just be magic. You know, even Bon Iver, when I saw Bon Iver come out last year when I went to see him, for me it was just, it gave me that excitement that I had whenever I started going to gigs, of seeing the person really there, and you know, and I'm watching Bon Iver and I'm looking at him with the experience of knowing he's played this for 2 months now, and it's getting near the end, and he's tired, and you know, it's now, it's very exciting to know. It's you have to put, you're not recording music anymore. What do I do? You start to work on the character that's going to present the thing, and it makes it easier.
Yeah.
For everybody, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is really fascinating. Yeah, definitely. And obviously looking forward to, you've got the tour in October and November, and obviously the dates will be in the bio of the podcast for listeners to listen to. So obviously before then the album is going to come out, and obviously the first taste of that album was Magical West, which was the first pre-release single. And obviously with that single, what can you tell us about the single, and why did you pick that single, obviously, to be that statement first single from the release?
I don't know. I think it was just because I think between the team that kind of made it, I don't know, we just thought that was a nice way to begin. And I think it references I think the theme of the song is about re-emergence or self-destruction or it's about having, just cyclically being who I am, but kind of not being afraid of it. I think the line, I was always never going to come back. I was always going to run away. I was always on. It kind of in my mind. It was the kind of touring and the temperance movement in the America and the kind of shooting for the stars and the kind of the ambition, and then for it to be interrupted and kind of for it not to turn out, but for that ambition and for that dream to still be, and to still in me into a literally maddening degree. I have a constant sort of drive to sing and write and to scream and shout, and I always will have, and I think because there's the relationships that were broken, many relationships that were broken in my life over the last few years, and I think it's just and I think the song Magical West, it refers to as well, the debasing of the world, the debunking of us as people and in the West for destroying everything and being cunts and being, I still see beauty, and I was trying to just say there's beauty, there's fucking beauty in our chaos and in our fucking world that we've tried to tame and fucked up and whatever the fuck. Who else was going to fucking do it? The animals? No. But anyway, I'm from the 90s, so excuse, I can't help the way I am. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, the song itself, I mean, obviously, is just such an incredible earworm. It's one of those songs where you just want to listen to it again as soon as you stop listening to it, because it is just so catchy. And I also want to put a spotlight on the video for the song, because I do think music videos are a complete and utter lost art these days. And obviously I think it fits the vibes of the song and the aesthetic of the song really, really well. So how did you come up with the concept for the video?
This was the video. Making the video was just one of those things that I have in my life because I'm lucky and because I have been in music and making videos and stuff, and I know people. And so I spoke to a guy who had cut a lot of Bison family stuff, and he wanted to do a video for it, and just had this whole concept. I think there was a moment where it was kind of supposed to be a little bit inspired by Ashes to Ashes, and there was going to be that sort of video production in it to sort of reference, but it became about color and light and sort of a sort of relaxed, almost sort of a performance of the song, and it's where I met the lady Michelle, who is it was a bit, we did a photo shoot together and we cut the record sleeve artwork, and with Michelle and with Stuart, who cut the video. So the whole concept was together. So we started off, we did the art, we did the cover, and then we moved into the video, and we'll do more. you know. And this is what's lovely, you know, because that's how anything that I've done that works. You know, you just have and Stuart loves us. He loves a video. He loves an 80s video by Japan, or, you know, something, but, you know, like a sort of, you know, Brian Ferry. I will see in your, you know, it's the 80s, it's wine bars, everybody's taking coke. It's like, you know, it is a lost art. And I think it should be romantic, and it should be, you know, dramatic. And you know what I liked about a lot of 80s videos was there was quite a disconnect from what was going on in the video and what the song was about. It doesn't need to be, you know, doesn't need to be absolutely what the song's about, but it's the I think that of course it is a lost art, because the great video directors are no longer required to make the video production it's all got so small, and so it's like everybody can do it, everybody can fucking do it, but, you know, and it was cool, you know, because the apps on the phone are great, but somebody like Stuart has studied studied so much and watched so many films, and you know, that's his passion. And so, you know, and but you know, people don't make videos because it's like the only people that make videos are people that have got millions and millions and millions and millions. It's like really good ones. I don't know. I've worked with Stuart again. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, it is a really great video, and yeah, it is such a shame that it's such a dying art, and it does a lot of it come down to cost. It's normally the first thing cut from the budget these days, with artists obviously struggling with cost of living and obviously pressures in the industry, and just touching on pressure. Obviously, yeah, we've gone over, you know, how you know Philip Seth Campbell has come into being, as it were, you know, because someone else is you. But obviously, when it comes to pressure, obviously you've released, you know, the Bison Family, and obviously Temperance Movement, and obviously this coming out under your own name. Is there any additional pressure for you, or, you know, perhaps that you put on yourself because of that? Or
Of course, you know, yes. I mean, there's pressure because there is because there are worries, you know, that there's music being made that's kind of being sold to an audience that maybe doesn't like it as much as the temperance movement. And I think that I kind of I've wrestled with that as somebody in a band that, although, you know, not sort of massively overground, well known, but kind of in a kind of cult kind of way, or, you know, successful and known and loved for being a live band, good live band. I think that I've kind of tried to sort of make a stand and say, well, look, you know, I did give all that up with I really genuinely did give up as a solo artist once before for the temperance movement, but in lieu of the fact that it didn't work out for whatever reasons, and you know, obviously I'll take a lot of that, but I've kind of gone, well, this is who I am, this is who I am on my own, this is who I am on my own, these are the things I care about, this is the kind of music that I love, like that, you know, like I love the Bison Family album. I more than the three temp records together.
yeah,
I love those songs because I feel as if they're my songs, and that's kind of like it's the best presentation of my songs, I think, of those songs that are on it, and but the difference was that the temp was just slick and dead, and had a sort of pathway, and to sort of play over and over the songs, and I think that I do the songs that I will play, the songs that I play are the songs that I know, because they're the ones that I genuinely cared about, because I sat and wrote them, kind of, and, you know, and a lot of the Tempest Movement songs I don't know anymore. I just don't know them. And would have to relearn them. So, but but the songs that I think that some of the greatest songs or the songs that I like. I I will play, and I love playing them. Um I love playing those songs, and whether and the Bisons as well, because I think on the Bisons record I wrote some of the best songs I've ever written, and I say that as somebody who has never really had massive commercial top 10 kind of success. That I still believe myself, and for me, I think Rich is a great tune. I think Only Love Can Live is a fantastic song. I'm so proud of it, and to share it with a group of guys that kind of felt it as well, that it was theirs. Yeah, I know it's a wonderful, chaotic sort of few years, you know.
Yeah.
So I just want to try and start again. I would like to try and start again, to honor everything and to be grateful, and my main aim is for people to see me and to know that they know that I am very, very grateful to be on a stage and to have a fucking hat on and a bit of fucking eyeliner and to know that I so cherish the position, and I'm not gonna, I am a very chaotic person. I made very wild decisions, and I'm very rash, and I've said and done things all my fucking life that people haven't liked, but there are people in this life that I like Neil Young, that did that. There were people that, like, the people that I'm not the only person that's ever, you know, and I've had a very interesting time of it. But this is just another zero reset for Phil. He's getting another chance. The dice is that it's all set up. The game's ready to play, and it's up to me to go and just fucking do it with the right attitude. It's nothing like a tour. I love touring. I said this to a musician the other day. I was built for it. I was made for it. I don't dislike it. I don't miss home. I don't pine for home. I like being on the road, and I like living from a suitcase, and I can take it for a long time. I really can. And not everybody can. Not everybody can. So for me, the breakfast at the hotel and the drive into the gig, especially a UK tour, the little circuit that you do, it's great. You're in Nottingham, and you find Nottingham's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really, really, it's like very hipster and very, and you get, and you're in, or fucking hell, wherever we're gonna go, we're gonna get all over the place, fucking London, Cambridge, everywhere, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I can't wait to be able to catch you at one of the shows. I'm sure they're going to be really special, because the album, I like how you said you pay kind of homage to everything that come before, because you obviously sort of first got into the industry back in the late 90s, and obviously you've, in that time, with the various bands and incarnations of yourself you've played in, you've racked up more than your fair share of, obviously, studio time, and what you've come out with City Lights is such an expansive collection of songs. There's such a diverse sonic palette on there, with so many different influences, and obviously when it came to the recording process for it this time, how was it for you, and obviously what would you say fans should expect from this album?
I would like to hear what people think, how people think it was recorded.
Okay.
I'd be fascinated to know how people think it was recorded. How, when people listen to it, because when I would listen to a record, I hear the band and I try and see them in what studio. I'll try and find out where they recorded and get a visual image, because for me this was basically staring at a laptop.
Yeah.
Moving from the stool over here to get the electric guitar to do a part, see how that works, right? Move on. We're doing vocals for that this afternoon, and then I'm going to pick up the kid from school, and then and I can't do it until Friday, and and that's what it was. And the I think for me, my music is rooted in instruments. it is rooted in the playing of instruments with musicians. And as much as I could, if I really wanted to, I just don't like beats. And I don't, you might find that with someday I'll have something that sounds a bit like that, but I just can't. And it's always because of these characters like Lou Reed. It's always they kind of drag me and keep me back there, because I would not like to be writing something that I couldn't sort of like be proud of in front of the likes of Lou Reed, right? And it's about, and maybe it's old fashioned, but that's the way it is. So I rely on musicality. One of the greatest decisions I made was to not make an album that was quite technical and quite, with synth bass and trap beats. I decided, no, I'm going to have drums. How am I going to do that? Ben, my knight in shining armor, who has represented this whole project and sorted the tour and all that. And he's like, I'll sort you out with a guy that I've used in America. He'll play drums on a Zoom call, and you'll be on the headphones and it'll sound like he's in the fucking room, no delay. And that's what we did. So I did 3 or 4 sessions with him, and we recorded 9 songs. I played drums on one of the songs. I played the drums on the last song, Gut City Blues. I demoed it for the Temp. It was meant to be the first, in my mind, it was the opening song for the Temp's next record. So I played the drums on it. But the other 9 songs, Jordan in New York City played the drums. And he just did it so brilliantly. So that's what gave it this sort of authenticity. Then once you had those drums, particularly once you had sort of 15 microphones worth of drums that could be properly mixed, then you had a big record. So, and as I say, I can't reproduce it like that. There is. I just have to kind of bite the bullet and stand with the acoustic guitar. And I'm freed from the piano. I'm glad of that, because I was spoiled with the Temp from becoming a stand-up singer, because it's very difficult not to do what I just want to do that all the time. Yeah. I can play the piano really well, and I can play. I'm a passable guitar player, but I'm like, fuck off, you play it. I don't want to. I just want to fucking present this. I want to sing this song, and one day I will get there again. I will get more and more. I'll build it up, and I'd love to come out and doing that starts and it's just and it all is like it is. That'll be a killer, and I'll jump about, and so that's what as well. Because for me, that vision there, that's only possible if this tour's successful, you see, and then you can get another guy the next time. You can maybe afford a rhythm section or something like that, or and so it's gonna be good, because these gigs I know are going to be very, very beautiful, and they're going to be talked about. I think I would like that. That's what I would like for them to be. It's for it to be. It was better than I thought it was going to be. That's what that's what you want. That's what everybody wants. But I hope it's received well, and mainly that the songs come across. And I was practicing today with Michael, who's playing the piano, and we realized that in the 3 weeks that we've been playing, we've played less and less on the songs, but the songs have become bigger and bigger. So it's just like it's been relearning and to play this record that I've made, but play the essence of it.
Yeah, it definitely whets the appetite for the tour dates, and hopefully the listeners to the show will be able to click through in the bio and pick a show. Obviously, it is a full tour. It's not just your typical London and Manchester and maybe Glasgow if people are lucky up in the north. It is a really good tour, hitting up most parts of the UK. You got your free in-store shows as well up in Scotland around the release of the album. So there's plenty of chances for the listeners to come and catch you at a show. And obviously, another way to stay up to date with you, we always at this point give out the social handles on the podcast, and obviously we've sort of brought it up already. The issues with that. So obviously, Instagram and Facebook is Philip Seth Campbell, but Twitter is actually and I love it. Twitter is PS Campbellino.
Yeah,
which I think is fantastic.
That was just one of my stupid ones. That was like something I would have done with my first Facebook page or something. Do you know what I mean? That was pre-Ben, because Ben has taken over the all that sort of socials thing, but that was just because I don't think I could get it. I don't know why I didn't get that one there, but PS Campbellino is what that is.
Yeah,
maybe I'll change to that. I'll be like Frank Black. I'll just change my name every fucking album.
That's not a bad idea.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. And obviously I encourage listeners to follow obviously Phil across social media, because that's the best way to stay up to date with everything coming these days. And obviously the album is out on September 1st. You've got the tour in October, just crossing into November. So a lot of really promising stuff from you, and obviously listeners definitely need to check all of that out. It's been fantastic talking to you about the album and
wonderful.
and
Thank you.
Getting a sense of how it was created.
Wow. I thanks, man. It's been great to talk. I love talk. I could fucking talk all day. You can tell, and it's nice to talk about this record. And it's nice to think that there's interest and there's people that are supporting it already by buying tickets and saying they're going to be there. I really, really love that. I love anybody who's really been interested in me, because it's given me a career that I can sort of stand over and the chance to sort of still make music.
Yeah, and it is a challenging industry, which leads us on to the final part of the conversation. So, I mean, obviously, as you touched on, for fans, I always stress, if you can buy a physical copy of an album, if you can buy a ticket well in advance of the show, it is always going to help your favourite artists out. So I really recommend that the listeners do that. So the final portion is called Magic Wand, Phil, and just basically a view of the issues of the music industry. And I've got a magic wand that I'm going to pass to you, and you can change one thing, but one thing only in the music industry. So with that magic wand, Phil, what would you like to change today?
I would take a magic wand and I would make it that new people who are playing instruments, that are young and interested in playing instruments and writing songs, I would make it that they would learn better songs, and with learning the instrument. I get asked all the time about the instrument. See, this is with the music industry, this is the end I'm going to get. The end I'm passionate about is that there is a chordal pattern or a variation of a few chords. Like before, in the past, we used to talk about the 3-chord song, the status quo. Now that has been replaced by a chordal structure that you will hear in a lot of songs like Ed Sheeran and Taylor. So it's going to be A minor to F to C to G, and it's like kind of a bit like the Cadbury's theme tune for like the one time they used before. I'm talking shit because I can't remember what I'm talking about, but there's a chordal structure. There's a feeling in a song now, Callum Scott or whatever the fuck it is. It's just the same. There's a sameness. I would take my magic wand and I would change the sameness, and I would put dynamic and diversity into the music, the chords that are being played, and the chordal structures of the songs. That people would educate themselves and see who the great writers like Elton John. I play songs. I play the piano. One of the people that influences the way that you can directly hear it from the way I play piano is Elton John. And I learned your song. I learned Tiny Dancer. I learned Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And in his songs, he changes key. And in his songs, he has big gospel inversions. And in his songs, he does this and he does that. And you learn how to do it. And I learned how to play the piano. And I learned how to write songs a bit more. Right now, if I hadn't done that and I just listened to fucking, I'm gonna right, okay, I love Lewis, but his song, unfortunately, I'm going under. It's a great song, but underneath it is the chord structure I'm talking about, and you don't even fucking realize it. It's just this generic drop down. this chordal structure, and it's easy. It's like on people, you can, it sounds beautiful and it makes you feel a certain way, but it's the same. And it's not, and there needs to be diversity. So I would take my wand and I would just go, boom, diversity, color, boom, wild chordal structures, and music that is wonderfully uplifting and enticing and exciting for different reasons. Because we're playing in fucking F sharp, because we're playing in two different keys and we're making it work because it just does, because it's maths.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Well, no, I love it. I really do. More diversity in music is always going to be a really good thing.
It's because there is too many apps that say, here's how to play the piano. Fuck the apps. Listen to the songs with a fucking thing here, and so you can stop it, listen to it, and what is he playing until you fucking can play it, and learn how to play the guitar, learn how to play the instrument, learn how to play it, learn how George Harrison plays the guitar, because George Harrison will teach you things about the guitar that you will never learn if all you do is play the chords of Ed Sheeran, or you will not learn how to play a melody, learn how to play a riff. He invented riffs, so listen to George Harrison and it will teach you how to write songs. I just think it's so, because within the whole, right, your music's no what fuck all now, because music's everybody's, right? So it's fucking free. We've all got it, and we can all make it, because we can all do it in our fucking houses, and we can all fucking, and it's like everything's just like, no, everything's easy. That's no longer an issue. Music is very easy. Here's how to make music. Here's how to make a track. Here's how to fuck all that. It's actually a distraction from real educate. You need to educate, so you need to be passionate. You need to have a favorite director. If you're a movie maker, you have to be passionate. You have to think, I love Tarantino, I love Martin Scorsese, I love their films, and I'm going to make films like that are in the same impact as that. You have to be passionate, and all passion is taken from staring at a screen and trying to. Anyway.
Yeah, the world needs more passion. I couldn't agree more with you on that one, for sure. And it's great to see how passionate you are, obviously, about your music that's coming out. So again, just to drill the point home for listeners, obviously September the 1st, City Lights is out. Please do pick up a physical copy if you can. Obviously it will be on the streaming platforms as normal, and again, if you can, come along to a show in October, and obviously catch Phil doing what he does best. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thanks.
We always pass the final message over to the guests, so what would be your final message for the listeners today?
I just hope everybody, whatever they're doing, if you're washing the dishes or out and about, listening to this podcast, I love listening to podcasts, and I just hope everybody's that's listening. This is a great night, and enjoy your life. So yeah, thanks, man, and it's been nice chatting. I hope to see you at a gig.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Cambridge, hopefully I shall be at. So yeah, definitely. Looking forward to it. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I really do hope you enjoyed that chat there with Philip Seth Campbell. Do make sure you check out his new album, City Lights, out on September the 1st. And of course, follow him across social media to stay up to date with everything coming from him. You can also stay up to date with Full Pelt. We're on Facebook at Full Pelt, and on Twitter and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. And finally, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, wherever you're watching or listening, because we'll be back very soon with another episode of the Full Pelt Music Podcast.